Pujam Prasanna Dhyayet Sarva Vignopasantaye Kujantam Rama Rameti Maturam Muturaksharam Arukya Kavita Shakam Bande Valmiki Kokilam Abadava Mahattaram Dataram Sarva Sampatam Lokabhiramam Sri Ramam Bhuyo Bhuyo Namamyaham Artanamati Hantaram Bhitanam Bidinasanam Dvishatam Kala Dantantam Ramachandram Namamyaham मनोज्जवं मारुततुल्यवेगं जितेन्द्रियं बुद्धिमतां वरिष्ठं वादात्मजं वानरयूथमुख्यं श्रीरामदूतं शिरसा नमामि चरितं रघुनाथस्य शतकोटिप्रविस्तरम् एकैकमक्षरं पुंसां महापातकनाशनं गुरुभ्यो नमः. Welcome friends. I think we are into the Samkshepa Ramayanam. We have seen the first three verses, and yesterday we have seen in detail as to how the Rama is the importance of Rama in everyday life. We will continue with this, and we will also see the philosophical aspect of the Ramayana. So we will recite the rest of the slokas. I think today we will try to cover and as much as in Samkshepa Ramayanam, which corresponds to the Balakandam of the Valmiki Ramayana. To that extent, we will try to cover today. And tomorrow onwards, we will embark upon the next kandam, that is Ayodhya kandam, and then we will go one after the other. In this also, we will be discussing a lot of concepts, both literary concepts as well as philosophical concepts, as well as the psychological, our all Upanishad, and as well as the scriptures or the psychological treatises. They are giving us, basically it is working on how the mind is being, acted upon, how the mind can sort of vary, in its various forms, how it can be brought to you can converge it to your own potential. That is what it is done. And the Rama is one who is the embodiment of the entire, the focus, and who has gone beyond the intellect of the beings, and how he is transcended as a human being, how every human being can get into. So that's what we are telling. So as in this first kanda, whatever the mantras we have seen, it is basically Valmiki was just out of his inquisitive mind. He is asking, is there any one human being is having all the virtuous qualities? He has described those virtuous qualities, and we have got a couple of mantras more to describe further qualities also. He just wants to know what is there any person, is a human being? Because Narada has got this knowledge from the Chaturmukha Brahma, based on the Mula Ramayana, what we talked about. Hayagriva has imparted that to Brahma, and Brahma has imparted that to Narada. The Narada has been sent specifically to discuss with Valmiki, so that Valmiki can bring this great epic. He can bring this great epic to the benefit of the human kind, to the universe. So in that context, Valmiki, out of his, both of them know. Both of them are participants in the entire the Ramayana proceedings. In fact, Uttara Ramayana, when Lavakusha was there, Valmiki's ashram, it takes place as it is. So they are very much aware of the entire thing. Despite that, because they want to see. And Narada, he being the one, who knows the entire gist of it, he wants to impart, so that the greatest epic is available to all of us through Valmiki. In this inquisitiveness, he just tries to give one after the other qualities, which is not possible for any human being to possess more than a couple of them at any point of time. Because the human beings, we are susceptible to our own living. Because we have said, the Rama as a concept is the highest bliss, that is coming out of the mind. Because when you are able to have a mind without conflict, Ayodhya, when we say Ayodhya, it is a place where there is no conflict. If Rama has remained in Ayodhya, and as such, he has only been there as a prince and continued his entire existence there, there would not have been any conflict. But he wanted to, because basically the Ramavatara has taken place, because it is not here, it is somewhere else, because we have to take the thread. Because when there was the Ravana, who is very capable person, who is embodiment of all the knowledge and intellect, but he doesn't have any control over mind. The conflicting mind has not allowed him to be the best being, in this world. Despite the fact he has come from the one greatest rishi called Pulasya. See, he is coming from the great, his lineage is very high. His grandfather was one of the greatest rishis. He is the grandson. he is a Brahmin. That is how, Brahma Hatya, because where Rama has to atone for his killing, the Ravana, he had to do it in Rameshwaram. It happens. Despite that, because it shows how a human being, with all the accomplishments, how you can slip down and you can go to the level, where you will not be able to retrieve yourself. They are showing on one hand, and on the other hand, the people, simple people, without any scriptural knowledge, without anything, they're living in the forest like Guha, like Sabari, and all this Ahalya, who has to have become, who has become invisible. Not she has not become a stone, because that's what the scriptures say. Invisible because of the earlier prarabdha, and finally she gets redemption, because by the touch of the feet of Rama, all these things takes place. But these people, they one doesn't have to be always well read, and because one doesn't have to be always because all knowing and all, but with the simple focus of the mind, with the simple the purity of the mind, how you can attain the greatest heights, you are able to be in touch with the Paramatma Rama. But whereas nowhere else, it is being said as Paramatma, nor Narada and Valmiki, they never discuss about, because the godly attributes and avatara attributes of Rama in this. They are only discussing whether the human being, is it possible for him to have all the virtues. That's how, the entire Ramayana, the first kanda starts. We have embarked upon those 3 slokas. We will also be seeing how it proceeds. Finally, how such a human being is found out, how he was there, and what is the context in which it has come. How is it possible for anyone to be like that? Even for a human being like us, whether we can be like that, because there are so many people who have exhibited, even in our own life, we have seen a lot of people, because have come, within their limited sphere of activity, they have also exhibited in all the great qualities that Rama has possessed, the Maryada Purushottam. Yes, but they have exhibited. We will also be seeing that this is a sort of a guidance, how the human life can be taken to extol to the highest level, which we think is not possible with our own conditionalities and with our own problems, which we think, we are facing it, because our mind has not reached the stage where there is no conflict. Because Rama had to perforce, go to the forest to help Vishwamitra. Finally, he has to get married to Sita, because these things happen. Because that is how, the Prakriti and the Paramatma, when they combine together, the Jiva is being born. Because it is Jiva is being brought to this world so that, he can flourish to his full extent. All the Jivas are considered, we have already seen in Gita and others, this entire soul is eternal. The body may be, because maybe come and go off, like a shirt, one is wearing, like a cloth one is wearing, it will come and go off. But the soul is eternal. When the soul is eternal, when entire thing, because how the soul is coming into the being again, because your unfulfilled desires, and as well as, what are all the good qualities you have accumulated all over, nothing goes waste. Whatever effort you want to take to be virtuous, all of them are accumulated, that comes to you birth after birth. But finally, when you attain, because you are the pinnacle of, not having any desire, you finally get in the redemption. When the redemption is there, when you have no conflict of mind, when you go past the intellect, when you go past the intellect, it is the intuition. We call, because all our entire Vedas are consisting of Shrutis. Why Shrutis are so important? Because they are not the product of intellect. They are all the product of intuition. Intuition doesn't have a contamination of the human mind, human conditionalities, human ambitions, and human desires. It is beyond everything and all. So when the Shrutis have come out of Pratyaksha, the experienced one, when it is experienced, you have experienced the highest level transcending your intellect. Intellect always gives you an idea to discriminate what is right or wrong to live in this world. That is good, that is required. But using that as a pole vault, when you transcend, beyond what is, the possible in this human life, when you go, that is intuition. The intuition all of us must have got sometime or other, because when we don't know what to do, when we were at the crossroads, when we have sincerely been working on, there is some power. There is, because we have sincerely worked upon without any fear or favor, without, we have not played favorites to anyone, nor we didn't have any godfathers, sugar daddies to help us. In those contexts, when everything is seemed to have gone, there is a power which lifts you up. When it lifts you up, because how it lifts you up, you get some particular thought, you get some, you act because something occurs to you that takes you from the bottom of the well, which you think you are in, and takes you out to the height of the hill, where you are able to find, yes, because this would have otherwise been impossible, somehow it has happened. But then what happens? Once we attain that, we think, it's all I have done. It is, I who have taken care of and all. We never realize it has been done by some other power. We are not the doer. That feel doesn't come at all. We don't realize because we have got such a great ego. That ego is one which is fostered and which is being developed to such an extent without which we can't live in this world. The ability to live in this world by coming out of this ego hassle is the biggest success for any human being. The ego may be different for different person. The grossness and texture of the ego has always put a veil on your power to get the intuition to do the great things. So that is what entire Ramayana philosophically denotes that. We are going to see the process of that only in the forthcoming verses. I will just recite the verses, fast, what we have seen, and we will go to the next verse. First verse onwards, I will recite the first three verses which you have seen, and I will go to the fourth verse which you have seen last. Then we will go about further. Tapasvadhyaya niratam tapasvi vagvitambaram naratam paripapracha valmikir munipungavam konasmin sampratam loke gunavan kasya viryavan dharmajnasya kritajnasya satyavakyo dridavratah, one who is steadfast. Charitrena chako yuktaha sarvabhuteshu kohitaha vidvan kakkat samartascha kasya eka priyadarshanaha. Eka priyadarshanaha is unique. In the sense, who is being liked by everyone. Charitrena, his conduct is so good. At his disposition is always the same. Charitrena ko yuktaha sarvabhuteshu kohitaha vidvan kakkat samartascha kaschaika eka priyadarshanaha. So not only that who is interested in the welfare of the all beings, sarvabhuteshu kohita, because because even if it is a plant, even if it is an animal, even if it is other beings, you just keep their welfare into account when you are doing any act. That is what what we call it, nana janasya shushru karma. When you are doing anything, it's not that only because you do the act, by virtue of it you also get the benefit and others also get the benefit. That is what we call it nishkama karma in Gita. The same thing is being indirectly referred to here. Atmavan ko jitakroto dhutiman ko anasuyakaha. This is the next mantra what we are talking about. It is the fourth mantra. Atmavan ko jitakroto dhutiman ko anasuyakaha. Atmavan, is the one who is self-composed. He doesn't, fritter, he is a being, he doesn't fritter, he doesn't vacillate. He doesn't react, overreact, or neither overact. Jitakrotaha. He has control over his anger. Anger is the one which comes as a natural reaction when you don't get what you desire, when you don't, when something doesn't happen as you expect, or when you think, repeatedly whatever you are trying to do, some obstruction from your point of view as well, because perhaps you are not understood or you have not taken the right action. But our own ignorance, seeing for always, one thing, the jitakrotaha, it has been explained in various scriptures and particularly in Gita and differently and all. The krota comes mainly because of ignorance and insecurity. It's not that, because you got every right to be angry and all. You can every right to be angry that because when you feel you have got every right to angry that you are ignorant of certain things. If it is not ignorant, you've got an insecurity. Insecurity comes, because you have to rise up to the level of because the being, and so that you are able to face everything squarely. Your inability to face anything squarely gives you the insecurity. Atmavan ko jitakroto dvitiman ko anasuyakaha. You are anasuyakaha in the sense you are not jealous of anyone. Anasuyakaha. He is not jealous of anything. Suyakaha is jealous. Anusuya, when they say you are not jealous of anything. So when you don't find, because you are just going about doing, you are not seeing what is happening to X, what is happening to Y. I have to do this. It is my duty. I am going about it. Let me do it. Whatever has to come will come. That's what it is. जितक्रोतो द्युतिमान् को न सूयकः कस्य बिभ्यति देवाश्च जातरोषस्य संयुगे. Jataroshasya, because the man may be composed. What he says, because it's an oxymoron. Exactly the opposite qualities he is telling, but the condition in which it is happening. He is self-composed. He doesn't react. He has got the control over his anger, because he doesn't have insecurity or he is not ignorant. These are all Valmiki is asking. Is there anyone like that who is not jealous of all those things? Kasya Pipati, and another one, because when he is angry, because Jataroshasya, when someone incites his anger, someone takes him for a ride, someone invites him for a fight, Kasya Bibhyati, he will just go any extent to burn the entire universe down. Kasya Bibhyati Devasya Jataroshasya Samyuge. It's not that you can't take him for granted. You can just go about because he is self-composed, he has got the control over his anger, he's not jealous. It doesn't mean, you can take him for granted. Because you should have this quality. And in fact, Vivekananda used to say, one of the Hinduism, contentment, and you should be satisfied with all those things. Doesn't mean you just be, allow other person to come and, because have a haste hay in your area. And he can't just take everyone for a ride. In fact, what has happened in our country is like that, because we had, because we have taken everyone with a good faith, but people have not come with a good faith. We should have known the intention. And if with this quality, we might have warded off a lot of things that has happened in various parts of the country, because we have always been invaded by the outsiders. Even the others have come to exploit us. And our own people, have changed their colors, because when they have to get the things, all those things have happened. That would not have happened, with these qualities that has come about. And you should be content, but at the same time, you should not. That is why Vivekananda used to say, it is not always sattvika quality that is going to help you. Little rajasa is involved, because if you are going to look after an organization, if you are going to look after an institution, you should be able to control, because all people, will have all the qualities. All the unwanted qualities will come because we are all human beings, because we all come from a different background. Then we should have the power to do that. That is what exactly. It's not that when someone can take him for granted. Atmavan ko jitakroto dutiman ko anasuyakaha kasya bibyati devascha jataroshasya samyuge. If someone incites him, someone takes him for a ride, he will not leave, go to any extent. Is there a person who can go to any extent and scorch the entire, the earth? He's the one who is capable of that. He's asking whether he is the person that is like that. After saying all these things, he's telling, he's asking Narada, Yedaticchamyaham shrotum param kautuhalam hime. I wanted to know, is there any human being, Nara, Yedaticchamyaham shrotum param kautuhalam hime, Maharishistvam samartosi. You are a Trikala Jnani, you are going to all the three worlds. Om, Bhuhu, Bhuvaha, Swaha, you are going to all the Triloka Sanchari. And you are a Devarishi, and you know everything, and you have got the direct knowledge from Chaturbhuka Brahma. Maharshi Samartosi, you have got the entire gamut of knowledge. There is nothing unknown to you. Will you be able to Kautuhalame? I would be immensely pleased to know that, because despite the fact, he is also aware of, he is a participant in the entire process of the Ramayana. He is asking from the words of Devarishi, because so that he can doubly confirm and he can embark upon writing this great epic. So this is like sort of what we call prelude, before writing a great story. if you have to have all those things, how to go about it, you'll have to have a prelude. You'll have to concept, you'll have to have a seed. This is what it is. Samartho say, Nyatum evam vidam naram. So I want to know whether there is any naram, any human being is having all these qualities, which is impossible qualities. That is why we call him Maryada Purushottam. You can't find any blemish. If there is 100 out of 100, all the qualities he has just described that. But just for the purpose of that, he has given 16 great qualities in the last 4 months. He is wanting to know from Narada, is there any one person who's having all the 16 qualities? What is this quality? Gunavan, one who is a the man who is right conduct. And he has got the Sattvika, and everyone can be pleased to interact with him. Viryavan, he is courageous, not only physical, mentally also. Dharmagyaha, righteous. He never waver from the righteous path. If something, even if an ant is going to be affected by that, he will not touch that. He will not even take a blade of grass if it is going to help. He will not even dig half of it, if it is going to be sort of a problem for anyone, who is having that part of the land and all. Kritanya, always, he will be gratitude personified. Even if you have done one small help, sometime, you will be, because we will be seeing in the forthcoming how, because his memory power, upaspriti, it will be talked about. He will be remembering that, and he will just take that, as a gratitude, and he will do that. And Dhritavan, Satyavakya. Satyavakya is never, he stood by only by his truth. Satyameva Jayate, we say. Satyam ever Jayate in the Indian courts and Indian context? Hardly, because we will find, because they are all the courts of law, but they are not the courts of justice. The justice has to come from the highest power. We know how the miscarriage of justice have taken place in so many cases. Of course, a lot of right decisions have also been taken, but the system is such, the evidential, the law is like that, because we will not be able to, because, we have, who has created the law? It is only we have created the law. We don't need any law if everyone is perfect with all these qualities. But we need the law because we don't have these qualities. That is exactly because why we having, because we had 2000 laws. By God's grace, almost 500 laws have been, because they have been taken out of the statute books. Some of them are outdated. The Raitwari Act, this and that, which is for nonsense in it was there, but it was being misused. Likewise, even now, because more than 400 to 500 acts are there, they have to be taken out of the statute. They have all been created because basically we didn't have all these qualities. No human being, we didn't have the qualities. And those who have ruled us, they never had any trust on their own citizens. Neither the citizen have a trust on the people who are governing them. That is a mistrust. So to bridge the mistrust, lot of laws have been brought. This is exactly, Ramayana brings over. Satyavakyu, because Satyameva Jayate, but Satyameva Jayate is followed by one small sentence in Mundaka Upanishad. That is, we have forgotten to take that. If we have taken that, that possibly would have reminded us. Satyameva Jayate na anrutam. Na anrutam in the sense, not the other untruth. Satyameva Jayate, not the untruth. But we have taken Satyameva Jayate as a mission statement. But whatever is happening is, Anrutam is winning everywhere, because the system is such. So, in fact, because we have got several law commissions, I think even now a law commission is there. All the law commission's job is to find out, appropriate, which are all the laws to be taken out, which are all the laws essential to be kept. So that, because the citizenry, has to be left to its full potential to flourish. Now, a lot of laws don't allow, the human beings, the citizens to exercise, their own, because the power, the animal spirit, with which, they can grow the economy and they can bring a lot of good. That is not there because we do always have a distrust. We have always got a no objection certificate. No country in the world is having a no objection certificate because objection is inherent, in the power of a governance. Anyone can object. Why should be objected? Because if you have a trust in the being, if Because even assuming in some distance, a person does it, you just take the case, one out of that, then give a set of exemplary punishment. Don't do that. But we don't do that. Once you have a no objection certificate, that piece of paper is good enough for you to know. What happens? All elements who are capable of getting it and who are not fit enough to get that, they get the no objection certificate. The man who has to get that and he will not get it, because he will be honest enough to tell everything. They will be convinced that they will say, he is not eligible for that. That distrust has to be taken out. And that is where, he says, once the people are good, there is no law required. The laws are there because there is no trust between the people who are governing and those who are being governed. This is exactly, because in Ramayana as exemplified, Ramaraja, when you means there is a trust between the people and as well as those who are governing, the kings. Satyavakyaha Dridhavrataha, because he is always, once you have to steadfast. He never vacillates. Once he gives a promise, he stands by that. Once he says, this will be done, this will be done. There's no excuses. You will not find a loophole to say, this could not be done because you have not complied with this. This is what is happening. A lot of old people, they have to get certain things done. They finally say they are not eligible. This is not there, that is not there. You have to bring that, and because people have to only finally because say it is their fate, they have to live in this. This is unfortunate. This is what they think. All these qualities, that's why he is enumerating. Charitraman, conduct, the way person speaks. You speak little, but whatever little should be sweet enough for anyone to listen to for hours. Your speech, that is what the charitra, the conduct, as well as the way you behave and the way you take everyone in the ambit of into your sort of a care, that is very important. Sarvabhuteshu hitaha, because he is all he's all beings, he's got the same, no fear or favor, no likes or dislikes. Vidwan, he's highly knowledgeable. He's fully sort of no one can take him for granted. He's fully knowledgeable. He is aware of everything, and he is the one who is very qualified to be there at every aspect of the life. He's the one. Samartha. You can't take him for granted in the sense Samartha. He will be able to understand what is the purpose, because we human beings are purposive animals. So what has happened is everyone had a purpose. Ravana had a purpose and all others had a purpose. Rama didn't have any purpose because he didn't react. He was there, whatever he has been asked to do at the 12 years, he was asked to go with Vishwamitra to protect the yajnas, the forest. He went there because his father, Vishwamitra asked him, his father gave permission to be taken. He went there. And Vishwamitra asked him, he took him to the Janaka Maharajas in Mithila. He went there, where he had to, break the bow. And finally, he had to get married, because he went everything. He didn't react or he didn't look for anything. He didn't went after that. As it happened, he allowed that. Though he is an avatara, he perfectly sort of immersed himself, majjanti, what the word they say, as a human being. You cannot differentiate between any human behavior with what Rama has done in the right mind and the right conduct and the right intellect and the right intuition. Samarthaha Priyadarshanaha. Anyone would like to always be interact with him. Priyadarshanaha in the sense, loving to deal with him. And Atmavan, self-composed. He would not find him, vacillating, reacting, overreacting. He doesn't have any insecurity or ignorance. And he has always been, when he has been told, you are going to be the crown king, as he said, when he has been asked the next moment, next day, look, boy, I think you will have to go to the forest. He was also smiling, and he was like this with the same flourish and the same delight and the same brightness. He accepted that. He didn't say, well, yesterday only he told me, and today, you're just giving me, not like that. Chitakrotaha, because we have already seen, because he has have the control on this anger. Dhutiman, he is the one who is always, because at any time, of the thing, once he has given a stand, he will never vacillate from the stand. Not that, because in this condition, this stand is good, in this condition, no. Once he has taken a stand, it is stand. Once he said, because even Ravana, he said, because assuming even Ravana comes at the last minute and he says, look, because you pardon me, I would have given him. I would have given him, because the refuge, and I would have taken him as I don't have any ill will. I will not have any ill will towards him. He said like that. In fact, we will be seeing, because it will not be come in the Samkshepa Ramayanam. The Yuddhakandam after Ravana was killed, when Vibhishana was in two mind whether he has to do the last rites of his brother, just because because he has fallen out with him and he has thrown him out of his the chamber, and he was in a quandary. But Rama says, look, if you are not going to do it, I will do it for you. It is my duty. After all, he is a being, your brother, and he has also done everything and all. Even otherwise, he is a being, for me, it is a bounden duty to do it. If you are not going to do the funeral, I will be doing it. That is Rama. So he is of that quality. Anasuya kaha, he doesn't, he has never been, because jealous of, like my younger brother is going to be the next king. So he was only too happy, because let me go, let me take my father's words and go. That's what it is. Vivattiti Devaha, in the sense, even the Devas, they were all afraid of him. If you try to incite his anger, he will scorch the entire, because all the three lokas in no minute. So therefore, he has got all these great qualities, all the 16 qualities what he has talked about. All the impossible, they are all, because impossible for any one person to have. That is why, we have got one and the only Rama. One in several billions. We are 7.4 billion in this world. Even in the 7.4 billion, there perhaps, not a single person with all these qualities. That is why we just revere, a person, who has lived several thousand years before, because there is a proof. He has lived here and he has ruled that and all, because that is why we want to take, as him as a Maryada Purushottam, his ideal being, and follow him so that we doesn't have any conflict of the mind and we can have the best of our life. So once he has said that, and because Narada, having heard, all this, you are asking a person with all these 16 great qualities. So anyway, then Narada says, on listening the words of Valmiki, he says, Shrutva chet trailokagyo Valmikir Narato vachaha Shriyatam iti cha mantraya Pragrishto vakyam abravit. After listening to this, Narada, Shrutva chayet trailokagyo, he knows all the three words. Triloka Sanchari, he knows all those things. Valmikir Narato vachaha, once, because then once he has heard, because these are all the qualities Valmiki is asking about, which in fact wanted to give that, impart that, particular knowledge, particular information to him, so that the great epic can be brought out, this welfare of the universe, benefit of the universe by Valmiki. Shriyatam iti cha mantra. I wanted to listen from your mouth, your words. And he says, Prahushto Vakyam Abravit. Prahushto, in the sense, because you give me, that wonderful the delight of listening to your words, and because you are going to tell me the greatest the story that has happened, because it is from Ishvaku that lineage. Ishvaku lineage, because even before Ishvaku lineage, it's even before Manu. From Manu it has come. Vaivasvavan, he was there. He was Suryavamsa, because it has come. In fact, we will see in Gita, in one adhyaya, because Krishna says, you think you are the first person I am telling you Gita. And that is what Arjuna thinks. You are telling me this, and because that I am your friend, because I am your devotee, though even. Then Krishna says, it's not that. I have also already imparted that knowledge to Vivasvan. Vivasvan is nothing but another sort of incarnation of Surya. And because he's the one, from there only the Manu, because in that Ishvaku, that entire lineage has come. The entire lineage is a beautiful lineage. In that only, because the Kalidasa has picked up, Raghuvamsam has been written, the Dilipa and all the great kings are coming in that. So when he has already told them like that, Shriyatam iti prahushto, because that is the greatest, thing that has happened. From Manu, it is one after the other, the kings have ruled with all the virtues, and they are all exemplified in how a king should be there and all. Vakyam Abravit. Now Narada is starting to tell, having seeing the enthusiasm, having seen how much, the Valmiki wants to know, because this is a divine, because providence, they have come together, and Brahma, Chaturmukha Brahma has purposely sent him there. Now the scene has been set when for entire Ramayana is going to be told, Samkshepa, brief, to Valmiki. That's why we are into the Samkshepa Ramayana. Samkshepa Ramayana is nothing but Ramayana in brief. And it is the seed, it is the prelude for the great epic. In the first chapter of Balakanda, we are going about that now. And the next mantra says, Bahavo Durlabhaschaiva Yetvaya Kitita Gunaha Mune Vakshyamyaham Udva Tairyuktaha Shriyatam Naraha. Naraha, he wants to know about the human being. See, Narada could have even seen, because it is how there is a prayer story, because the entire Devas and all the rishis went to Vishnu, because there is the entire Ravana and his clan was creating so much problem. Finally, we will have to find a way out there. So at that point of time, the Vishnu doesn't take avatar. He wants to take the appropriate time. Dasaratha, because of his, the earlier births, his prarabdha and all, he didn't have any child. But he has done so much, he is a sort of a follower of righteousness, Ishvaku Vamsam. He's done so many things, and he was also about to do the Putra Kameshti Yajna, and that was to be performed by Rishyashringa, the greatest, because that Muni was done, because in fact, Sringeri, which we go, it is the place they say, Rishyashringa was residing and all. So that Rishyashringa has done, and he has already planned, and he was about to do it. So the Vishnu decided this is the appropriate moment, and he deserves. And his wives, they are also capable, they are all worthy enough to be born in their family. So he chose Kaushalya, and finally he came, as the Yajna, because finally when they got, the entire prasad from the Yajna Kunda, all the wives consumed. That's how, because all the four brothers are born. So he was waiting for that. At that point of time, he ordained all the devatas. They also will have a role to play. All of them have to come to the earth. Most of them have to come to the earth. Most of them have taken, because certain, like Guha was also, one of the devatas. So is and all others and all. So all these, most of them had come as Vanara. Vanara in the sense, Vane Charati iti Vanaraha. Devatas, they are in the different world, in between the heaven and earth. And they all took the sort of the avatar of Vanara to be, the part of this entire episode of Ramayana. They all came here. That is why, because Vanara is not a simple, the monkeys as we see it. In fact, because they also have great qualities. The monkeys, in spite of they are being, there in everywhere and living in the forest and as well as in the cities nowadays, because they don't have enough forest to be there and all. And basically, they are all exemplifying in how a human mind can work. Chanchala, because they will always be, they will not be in one place. And Asthira, they will not be in single, because it is the thought. Vanara, when they come, because it is a sort of a connotation of a thought. So they all come here. And the thought is always, because it is moving about. It doesn't give you, it doesn't, as you are, as I am talking, because you may be listening at the same time, you will have at the back of the mind certain things which you will have to do immediately after that, and what, because maybe that, you might have planned something and all those things will be there. Because it's not, you will have to attend to those things. That will also be there. And as I'm sitting here and discussing with someone here, and I will immediately be thinking of my cousins in the US or something else, it will be, my mind will be going, tad dure tadvantike. I will be sitting here, my mind will be elsewhere. In the classroom, it happens, if a teacher is not teaching, to your liking, your mind will go somewhere and he will be teaching something else. That is how it happens, because we see, he was this class was boring, we used to say, and someone, who takes you, with the lively, the discussion and all, then you are into that, you are able to get it. Most of the time, mathematics is becoming a boring subject, people only concentrate, as they are trying to show their wisdom on the board. They don't know, because how much it can make it attractive and all. Of course, nowadays the teaching techniques have changed. It is like that. So therefore, the thoughts are like that. Thoughts are always, oscillating. In fact, every day we are having 60,000 to 70,000 thoughts are coming, of which 90% of the thoughts are useless thoughts. And the thought means it's an energy. We waste our energy on the thought. Once you discard all thought, only you take the relevant one. What am I? This is what I have planned. I will only do this. Once you develop the habit, how you can develop the habit? Maybe you can do your own yoga, or you can do your own prayer, or you can do your own meditation, or even if contemplating few minutes in a silent zone without because something and all only you talk about. If nothing comes, only you take, just think about when you are at a crossroad and you've got an issue, tomorrow you'll have to deal with it. Or you've got something to happen, you'll have to deal with the banker, or you'll have to deal with the insurance agent, or you'll have to book your ticket, or you will have to sort of the manage the property, or some property dealing is coming. And then when you are at the crossroad, or your children, because the marriage of your children, or education of your children, or your visit to US, or your visiting something, when it comes, when you find there is some sort of a issue is there and all, you contemplate 5 minutes and simply be reciting Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. In mind, you don't have to you don't have to be vocal, to be heard by others. You just see, recite in yourself and all. You will get, and after a few minutes, clarity, and then you will be able to go about it. The Vanara basically, they've all been brought in to show how the thought pattern of the entire thing. But even those thought pattern, how these Vanaras have been made into a great army, and how they have gone to cross the ocean and get into Lanka. That is how you are cultivating, controlling your thought and making it effective for the purpose of your own growth and your own sort of a way to get the things done in this world. That is what Ramayana is. It's not simply Vanaras, they came, you tell the names of Vanara, this and that, and they're all there. Each one has, Nala has got a particular quality. Hanuman is, we don't have to say, he's a Pavanaputra, because he has got the greatest qualities, as we have seen and all. So, and as been exemplified in Ramayana and all. They are all thinking about the psychological aspect of the human beings. That point, is not being always being recited or told, in normal, because that is what we will have to take that. Because how it is going to be effective for our life is only from seeing these things that we will be seeing one after the other. Munevaksham bhutva tairyukte shriyatam naraha. So I want from your mouth, Yuktam, once you were able to, I wanted to Shriyatam, I wanted to listen, so that for the benefit of the mankind, I will be able to embark upon this great epic. So then Narada starts, here only from the Ramayana starts. Itvakuvam saprabhavo Ramo nama janashrutaya. Ishvakuvamsam, the biggest, the Ishvakuvamsam lineage is there in Balakandam. The entire thing, we should listen to the reciting one after the other it is like a breathless repetition from Anantarama Dikshita. He used to tell all the names of the entire Ishvakavamsa. There are so many kings. It is described in the Balakanda. It is a pleasure to listen to that. Each one with the different qualities. Each one is an exemplary king in his own right. And all those things. And one of those kings like Dilipa has been taken, by in Raghuvamsam. He has also described the other kings also. But Dilipa in particular, is taken, and Raghuvamsam, is taken. So this is what Ishvakavamsa Prabhavo Rama. Prabhavo, because like Prabhava in the sense it is fame. It is like the sun's rays. The sun is having, because the rays from there, the entire the rays are spreading. It's like that. Ishvakavamsam, it has spread all over because of the quality of the governance by these kings. In that form, so Ramo Nama Janaishrutaha. See, he is the one, because he is the one who has come in this entire Ishvaku Vamsam, and he has emerged in the Ishvaku dynasty, because that is how he has to come for the purpose of fulfilling, the entire request of the rishis and devas, as well as, to bring an exemplary human being for the mankind. Such a epic can be brought out of that. He is a controlled, highly valorous, resplendent. And we have seen all the qualities. What else? He is the one who has come about. Niyatatma Mahaviryo. See, he is not only that Atma, Paramatma, Niyatatma. Niyatatma in the sense, he is the one who can make every Atma elevated, who is Antaryami. Though he is not come in the same form as Paramatma, he has got all the qualities of Paramatma ingrained into him. This is what, because Govinda Rajyam, because Govinda Raja is one of the greatest exponent of Ramayana. The Ramayana commentaries, that one Maheshwara Tirtha is there, Govinda Rajyam is there, there are other masters are also there. So they are all expounded, even the Madhvacharya has expounded, and so is Narayana Panditacharya, also Sangraha Ramayana is done. So they have all brought out various qualities. The Govinda Rajyam, which is the most popular, is one of the greatest commentators. He says, because he's Sarvagya, because when Rama is being described, Sarvagya in the sense he is only Sriyana Sindhyadan. He can't think anything small. No lowly thoughts will come. And we are all Alpagya. For us, always we are bombarded with all sorts of selfish and lowly thoughts. At times, we are being carried away by them. That is why, you say, Niyatatma Mahaviryo Dutiman Dritiman Vashi. Dhutiman, resplendent one, Dhutiman is steadfast. Once he has taken a stand or once he has given a word, Pranijaye par vachanna jaye, because that type of a quality is displayed all through. Ittvagavamsa prabhavo Rama Nama Janaishrutaha Niyatatma Mahaviryo Dhutiman Dritiman Vashi. Vashi in the sense he is just take you, because he attracts, you are in his, you come into his, in the entire, the ambit of his persona. You will not be able to get out of that. It's like a magnet. That's what he says. The next mantra, because he's telling, because the further, elaborates, is not only that, whatever qualities, 16 qualities he has said. Namaskar. Bahanara? Shubhakanshalu. Vivati Shubhakanshalu. Buddhiman, Nidhiman, Vagmi, Shriman, Shatru Nirbahana. Buddhiman, Nitiman, Vagmi. Buddhiman is wise. Nitiman is, because he never wavers, when he has to do justice to himself. Even he has to sort of undergo suffering on behalf of others, he will do it. And as well, he will dispense justice as it should be. Vagmi, the Vagmi in the sense, the speaking, the eloquence of the language, the flourish, the splendor of the language that comes about. Buddhiman, Nitiman, Vagmi, Shriman, Satru Nibbirhana. Shriman in the sense he is wealth, because he is such a look, this prosperity will flourish, once you see him. He will be inciting, the sort of ambition to be as prosperous in your thoughts, in your action, and as well as in terms of wealth, health, everything and all, because he is the one. Some people have got that magnetic attraction. When Rabindranath Tagore, he went on a visit to Japan, because Japan, they have also seen like that they are not a Christian country, and they have also seen a lady sort of exclaimed, I have seen Jesus Christ. He was a tall man with a wonderful persona, with his elegant and I think his eyes are sharp. He used to have a flowing hair and long beard. With that, she said, I have seen Jesus Christ. That is what she exclaimed. That came in the papers in those days. It is like that. Someone who looks at, like Swami Vivekananda, will you be able to, the gait with which he is telling it, the majestic view, will you be able to reproduce? It is only Vivekananda who can do, because his persona is that he's fully such a maturity, because even very sort of a portrait of Vivekananda will inspire so many youngsters. Nothing, if they see him, even a dull and indolent person, will become active and he will get into this mode. So it is like that. Shriman Shatru Nirbahana, because we have seen already he is capable of eliminating, all his. He's a king, he has been trained in everything. Viplamso Mahabaho. Viplamso Mahabaho in the sense, is broad-shouldered. Vipula, broad-shouldered. Mahabahu, Bahu, Bahubali, when we say, is such a wide shoulders, tall. Kampugrivo Mahahanu. Kampugrivo in the sense you got such a long neck with three lines, three excellent, eloquent lines, elegant lines. They will be giving the person, all the warriors you see. If you see the image of King Ashoka, you see the King Alexander, the Alexander the Great. When you see the portrait, you will be able to see the artist they try to give. It is like that. Kampu Grivo Mahahanu is cheekbones. Cheekbones are well chiseled. Because it is to enable him, to speak as well as the very persona of him. It will be able to give him, because no one can take any sort of he will not be able to take it easy for him, and he will have to behave. The very persona is like that. He's giving all these things, because these are all, poetic, what we say, license, in which, the poetry of reality, because how the reality is being explained in poetic languages. The Ramayana is considered to be the literary masterpiece, not only in terms of philosophical output, even in terms of the literary works, in Sanskrit. It is being considered to be the greatest alankara. Alankara, that is one of the, how the flourish has been come about, that is being done. It has been brought in terms of Narada's language in the first chapter itself by Valmiki. In spite of the fact there was a discussion, this has also been written by Valmiki. Kampugrivo Mahahanu. Next, he says Maharasko Maheshvaso. It's a broad chest. Maharasko Maheshvaso Gudachatru Arindamaha. With concealed collarbones, some of them, because if you are puny and your collarbones is visible. He was a prince, so the collarbones will not be visible, and they were hidden. But you will know, where the collarbones are, because it carries the broad shoulders. Arindamaha, because he just can take all the enemies, in a jiffy. That's what Arindamaha. Ajanubahu, that how it is like a big, the person, who comes, like a Mike Tyson or Muhammad Ali, comes. What is that Ajanubahu? As we have seen. Sushiraha. Sushiraha, in the sense, he is with a high head, because it's not drooping. It's never drooping. You may not be short and so some of us may be short and stocky or tall and lanky, but he is straight-headed. He's sinuous. Sulataha, with an ample forehead, because Sulataha in the forehead, is always a symbol in which a person you can just have. How is Agya Chakra? He will be able to perceive what the other person is up to. Suvikrama, the gait is, because of the kingly gait. Like Vivian Richards walks into the ground to bat. How we have seen, he was called King Richards mainly because of that, the way he used to walk like a king. It is like that, because he has given all those explanations, so that, the reader could imagine what type of a persona he is. It is not a simple ordinary human being. It is not possible for someone to be like this. And then he gives, not only that, he is having all these things. Samaha Samavik Bhaktangaha. Samaha Samavik Bhaktangaha Snigdavarnaha Pratapavan. Samaha in the sense in right proportion, because there is Samudrika Lakshanam, we say. 64 Lakshanas are there for all any gender, male or female gender. He had all those genders. Samaha, Samavibhut Bhaktangaha. All the things are symmetrically divided, and they are proportionate. Nothing is disproportionate. Snigdavarna. Snigdavarna is a beautiful term used in literature. In all Kalidasas, as well as, in Krishna is also being Snigdavarna, and it is being called. It is like the color of the sky, color of the cloud. He is of Snigdavarna. Snigdavarnaha Pratapavan. So that is sort of when you see the sky you can't, reach the sky, but the color of the sky, the blueness, the Snigdavarnaha, the clouds, when they are traveling, in a rainy season, with the full splendor, that is Snigdavarna. Samaha Samaviktangdaha Snigdavarna Pratapavan Peenavaksha Visalaksho Lashmivan Subhalakshana. His chest is, because the sinews, your nerves and other things and all. Peenavakshaha Visalaksho, with the broad eyes. No one can escape, his gaze. Lakshmivan. See, once he is there, because he is having all the qualities of Vishnu, is Vishnu without Lakshmi can't be there. In the sense, Lakshmivan, he is having the entire prosperity in his looks, prosperity in his output, and prosperity in his thoughts. That is, because your thoughts are so elevated, you will not be having a peevish thought. You will be having a thought, which are so elevated, it will only take you to the highest level. That is the philosophical aspect of it. Subhalakshana. Once you got that, this is the being one would like to be anytime, any part of the world, in all the yugas. He is the one and the only one. There is no one other than the Rama in the entire all the yugas. There is no one other than the Krishna in the entire yugas, all in the Dwapara Yuga. Krishna has done what he has to do. He has got the qualities. He has used all strategies. But whereas Rama is the one, who was only followed the righteous route all through, come what may. Likewise, he is exemplified in every avatar. In fact, all the Dasavataras, one of the concept is all the Dasavatara, there is nothing called, though it is the tendency to cause something as a Purnavatara, something like Amsa, something like Avesha. A lot of, because philosophy says, but the common parlance is all the avatars has relevance. Every avatara has got a relevance in all the things, because the power of all the avatars are never compromised. They are coming with all the full powers and effulgence. This is what, they are trying to indicate, so that he may not be a Vishnu avatara. He has come as a Nara, but he has inculcated all the qualities. Finally, because when we say we realize self-realization, what is that? Finally, when you have all the qualities, when Satvika dominates you, you get godlike qualities in you. You may not become a god. What we say, realization, redemption, to get those qualities. I think why, the great people like Ramana Maharishi or Ramakrishna Paramahamsa or the Mahaparival, so many people we have seen, in Balagangadhar Tilak, even in his life, even as a Grahastha, they have all lived the life like that. So we have seen our even see Mahatma Gandhi, once he was asked, because people always they mischievously used to ask him a question. He was traveling by the third class, after independence also. So there was the Foreign Ministry official said, because to keep him safe in a third class and cost much more than to keep him in a flight, because I think Shankar must be knowing. This is all normally this is the bureaucratic tack, and it also because even the ministers must be feeling, because he is mingling with everyone, he doesn't have any likes or dislikes. So one journalist asked him, "So why are you traveling by third class?" He just because in those days, if you remember, there used to be a second class. The second class will have some sort of, and the seat will have a cushion. That's all. First class, second class, and third class is like Janata class, cattle class, as Tarur calls it, Shashi Tarur calls it. And he said, he gave a very, very sort of a surprising answer, because there is no fourth class. If there is a fourth class, our citizens can't afford more than the fourth class, and I would have also gone by that. I am no better than any of our citizens, because that is the attitude you take. That is the thought at that point of time, because it is not the personal comfort. Once you are able to give the personal comfort without any whimper, that is the quality, highest. Because if you look only for the comforts at any cost, that is, where we take into the peevish thoughts, slowly come one after the other. Because that puts you, and it puts you the ego, because you will not be able to get out the ego, the comfort and this thing and status, all those things one after the other. He says, and then the next mantra, this is the mantra we will see, and the rest of the mantras we will see tomorrow. Dharmagyaha satyasandasya prajanam cha hiteratah. Dharmagyaha satyasandasya prajanam cha hiteratah. Dharmagyaha satyasandasya. Satyasandasya, satyasanda is a great word. Satya is truth. Sanda is, it is totally been innate in him. He will not be able to do anything. Satyasandha Tirtha, because we have got a Acharya named after. Satyasandha is a Prajanam. Prajanam to Hitoratah, because he will not be able to do at the same time. If any citizen, because he being in the kingly family, Prajanam or anyone interacting with him, he will always be, in their welfare only. He will not think about others' welfare. As Kamban has said, Tanakkana Vada Pirakuriyala. He doesn't about his well-being. He doesn't bother about his comfort. He is only bothering about, he is only sort of concerned about others' comfort. Yashashvi Jnana Sampannaha Sunirvascha Samadhiman. Yashashvi, in the sense, he is always in the same position. He is always, because in all the qualities what has been described, in terms of, because his physical, his terms of robust health, in terms of longevity, and in terms of his fame, is Yashashvi, because that's how, he has been remembered for thousands of years, even after the Ramayana has taken place. Jnana Sampannaha. Sampannaha is the very, very great word to be. Vidya Vinaya Sampannaha is one who is fully sort of enveloped by Jnana. Because jnana in the sense, is continuously, because you will be, jnana is, there is no end to it. You will go on absorbing, like attracting in the magnet. Sunirvachasaha. Sunirvachasaha, because once you see, you are attendant, you are such a famous one, you are having a prudence as well as self-controlled prudence. Prudence is not a blind prudence. Self-controlled prudence with the proficiency of a prudence. You will be able to jnana sampannaha, prajanam cha hiterataha, dharmajnaha yashashvi, samadhiman. In the sense, because it's no one will feel he has been neglected. Everyone has been attended. Normally in our marriages, what happens, because someone comes and complains and I went there and no one looked after me and all. It's not that. In his case, everyone will be attended to, and so will be others will also be attended to. He's that quality. These are all the qualities, because which possibly, we will only see, it is only in the literature. Is it really possible for anyone to be, because he has just given us a moral compass for us, to take into and all. People have taken that to that level and finally they have lived. Some of them, may be well known. Some of them may not be well known. We don't know a lot of people. So the lot of people who are living in an ordinary life, I know at least some of the people. At least in my circle, I have seen right from the childhood. I have seen people who have lived like that, and they have all lived, and finally they have gone silently without any sort of hiss. That is the accomplishment. That is the final accomplishment of life. If that could be done, there is nothing like that. Because what happens is your vibration stays here. It makes the entire people around you, family and friends, to be elevated. So this is what we have seen, and this is the one. Next two mantras are going to be in the last one, which will be completing the Balakandam. That we will be taking this. With this, we will conclude today's session, and perhaps because tomorrow onwards it will be, we will be going in between. There was a discontinuity will be there. Because since it is Ramayana and brief, certain events might not have been brought in here. We will just interlude that. We have got the respective ones in from Ayodhya Kandam also. For the continuity, we will take it. With this, we will complete the session today. And if you have anything, because you can also, whenever you have time, you can just go through, hear the recital of Samkshepa Ramayanam, or you yourself can try to recite. If you have got it, you can go to valmikinet.in, that has got. Even otherwise, Samkshepa Ramayanam himself is available in sanskritdocument.org. Here also it is available. You can take in sanskritdocument.org. You can also download the Tamil font. So they have got, the Tamil font or English, whatever you would. The English, it may be difficult because the English, these Sanskrit words, they have given certain notations. Unless you are familiar, you will not be able to do that. You can do that. So with this, we will continue the great Samkshepa Ramayanam. And we have almost come to 14 mantras. Yes,
Shloka 11. 11th shloka, if you could kindly say it again. 11th shloka.
Samaha Pratapavan.
No, if we could say again the second verse, Samaha Samavip.
Samaha Samavip Bhaktangaha.
Bhaktangaha.
Samavip
Bhaktangaha. Snigdavarna Pratapavan.
Samavik Bhaktanga. Samaha is proportionate. Samavik Bhaktangaha in the sense all the similarity, it's not dissimilar. The limbs and the fingers and the entire body is Snigdavarnaha Pratapavan. Samaha Samavik Bhaktangaha Snigdavarnaha Pratapavan. Deenavaksha Visalaksho Lakshmivan Subhalakshanaha.
Yeah,
so he's finally in the Samudrika Lakshanam, there are 64. All the 64 are being, he is capsuled in this and he has given it in this one. All 64, otherwise you will have to elaborately it is given.
Okay.
And it is that he has given that. So with this we will complete the session today. And if you recite, if anything is there, you can always go back to earlier slokas also. We will recite for the benefit.
Yeah.
Okay. Swasti Prajavata Paripalayantam Nyayena Margena Mahimahimsa Gobramnebhyo Subhamastu Nityam Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Kale Varshatu Parjanti Prithvi Satyachalini Teshoyam Shobharayito Brahmana Santu Nirbhayaha Labhastesham Jayastesham Kudastesham Parajayaha Yesham Indivarashyamo Hridayasto Janardanaha Ramaya Ramapadraya Ramachandraya Vedase Raghunataya Nathaya Sitaya Pate Namaha Mangalam Kosalendraya Mahaniya Gunabjaye Chakravarti Tanujaya Sarvabhaumaya Mangalam Kayena Vacha Manasindriya Nirvana Buddhyatmana va Nushkruto Sabhavat Karomi Yatas Sakhalam Parasmai Narayanayeti Samarpayami. So we'll see. And because it is we have come up to 14.
Yeah.
And the next tomorrow we will try to cover maybe up to 25 also. Then we'll...
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Prabhupada, bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Okay, Ramachandran. See you later.
Take care. Bye. See you tomorrow.